All right, this is April 13th, 2024, Saturday, and it is just starting to drizzle. This year's been crazy. We've got a lot of rain. It's always out on the weekends, all weekends. I got things to do, and it rains. So this project is just dragging on. And every weekend I get a couple hours or a little bit. I come home from work and I see something like, oh, I want to do this real quick. And I really don't take pictures of you. I take some pictures. I just don't do a whole lot of video on it. So I'm way behind in updating my YouTube channel on Oddball. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm not going to go back and grab any of the old videos because it's just a whole lot of repeating of everything I've done for the last, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And it's, yeah, just, and if you aren't, there's a lot of little things you may not even notice that got done that I noticed. But I want to show you where I'm at right now. I'm really happy the way things are going, and Oddball should be we should be done with this project long before the 4th of July. Hopefully have all the bugs worked out. Now it's really starting to, it's drizzling. So let's spin it around and see what we got. Let's see, there we go. That's not that, not that. All right, there she is. 1941 Dodge weapons carrier Oddball, our command car. All right, as you notice, got the 1977 250 cubic inch inline 6 General Motors engine in, along with the 1985 turbo 350 transmission that I had rebuilt in Riverside Transmissions. So yeah, everything's mounted in there. New steering box, that's been in there for a while. The thing is really nice. The motor's sitting perfect, got plenty of clearance. This right here, I'm just playing around with making a fan shroud for the fan, because the fan does sit really low. So I'm gonna probably work on this on the next couple of weekends or weekdays. Got the new Chinesium carburetor on there with the linkage. Still got to figure out where I'm gonna put the throttle pedal inside the vehicle. Master cylinders, put on all the wiring. Worked on the wiring today. That's for the headlights, alternator, tail lights. Got the high beam floor switch right there, high low beam switch. Let's see what else. I am going to put a what do they call it, a line lock solenoid on the rear brakes, so I'm able to set the brakes, get out, and then I can put some wheel chocks for safety. I don't want to trust just using it in park. And the original emergency brake was on the transmission, or out the back of the transmission, and that doesn't work in this scenario. Let's see, I added last week a transmission cooler. It's a heat sink, so it doesn't need to be on the radiator with air flowing through it. It just needs to be somewhere so it can ward off the heat there, or disperse the heat. A little something extra. Let's see, on this side I got the distributor in, spark plug, sparkle wires, oil filter, starter, forward starter, solenoid, master switch. That's a $35 dipstick right there. That was hard to find. Let's see, the oil pressure lines in, the coolant temperature sending unit. I still got to weld the mounts together. They're not going to go anywhere right now. I just haven't had a chance to come out here and do the welding, because I do have some welding I need to do underneath. I'm just waiting to do everything at one time. So other than, let's see, I need radiator hoses. I need to make the fan shroud. That's a carburetor link, fuel line. I gotta do the fuel line, and I have everything to do the fuel line all the way to the back. I just don't want to do all that until I get done doing all the welding and cutting. I do need to work on the transmission mount. Let's see, where's it at? There it is, down there. I gotta, it's mocked up right now, but I gotta take it out, cut and weld a bracket on it. And I got some parts. Yeah, there it is. I got some parts ordered on that, but I just don't feel like crawling underneath the truck this weekend. And with the rain, I'm going to wrap it up right now. Coming around the inside, you guys already seen the gauges and the steering column and everything. But there it is with the transmission with my my knockoff Genie shifter. But that is an original Genie shifter or Loker shifter shift knob. That was in the 37. But I decided to use the shift knob I got from Roush Racing from, let's see, what was it, 2005 My dad took me back to North Carolina for NASCAR race back then. I bought an aluminum one at the Roush shop. So that's on the 37, and the one from the 37 is on the Dodge. So let's see, tranny cooler line's hooked up. This is the piece that I'm going to make extensions and weld back in for the firewall. Speaking of firewall, this area right here I'm going to cover up, and then I'm going to mount the horn that was mounted over here, right there in the middle. That's what that red wire's for. So I'll have a horn, the same horn I used during the last parade, and it have the siren that was on the fender. I didn't add anything as far as any kind of like LED lights or light bars or anything else. Just trying to keep it simple. Let's come through the mess here. Let's see. Here's a transfer case. Next thing I'm going to do is rebuild it. I did get this bitchin' shifter from JB Fabs. Sorry, JB Fabs. I got it sitting here. I mocked it up to see how it works. 48-inch cable. It just, you know, nothing crazy, but I needed something, and that will work perfect. So once I get this bench cleared off, because I was working on fittings and yeah, just this is a kind of a catch-all. Once I get this cleared off this week, that will be dismantled on my welding table here, my bench, and I got the kit, everything over there, complete kit with a chain, bearings, everything, and I'll be working on this. So yeah, it's getting there, a little at a time, but it is getting there. I got plenty of time before the 4th of July. I'm hoping I don't have any major setbacks. Let's see, the last two things that are going to be that's out of my wheelhouse are the drive shafts. I'm definitely going to do the rear drive shaft, depending on what that costs. I may hold off on the front one because I really don't need the front one for anything I'm doing. I technically really don't need the front one at all, but there's just something about having a four-wheel drive vehicle and not having the front drive shaft. All those videos from SEMA and stuff, they call it the Bluetooth drive shaft. I just want it to have what it's supposed to have. But the reason I didn't go with the whole four-wheel drive thing on the Retro mod because I want to go four-wheeling. I needed it basically because the transfer case has a lower range gear, and when I use this in parades, I wanted that low gear so it can crawl at walking speed. That was mainly the reason I went with the transfer case, because it's got it's got 488 gears on the Dodge, but these tires are about 4 inches taller than the original tires that came on that truck. So even in first gear on the old motor, which is supposedly a granny gear, it was a little faster than walking speed, and that was a fairly low gear. So I figure with the automatic and this, I think it's 3-to-1 reduction on this NP208, I'm not positive, but I'm hoping that will be slow enough to crawl. Plus with the automatic, I'm not going to have to be sitting there clutching, you know, the whole parade. But on the same token, you know, if I ever get the opportunity to go somewhere on a trail with some vintage vehicles or something, I'd like to be able to actually, you know, take it somewhere and actually, you know, do a little bit of, you know, trail riding. I mean, this wouldn't be my first choice, but it's kind of a neat old vehicle, and it's going to be nice to be kind of capable to do that, because technically the suspension is all original. The brakes, the axles, springs, everything just like it was in 1941. The motor is not a whole lot more powerful than the original motor. This is I think this is probably 50 horsepower more than supposedly what that inline six flathead motor had. So it's not going to be so much horsepower that it's overbearing to the suspension and the brakes. But still, I mean, it's obviously not the greatest, you know nowadays technology to go out and, you know, rock crawling with it or anything. You're not going to see me out in Utah running any of those trails, but I think it'd be just fine running around some fire trails or some just simple trails up the mountains. But that's another date, another time. I just want to get it to where I can drive from point A to point B and use it in some of the parades and actually have a little fun with it. So it's getting there. And more than anything is if anything breaks on it, it's simple to go to Napa, go to AutoZone. You're not searching the internet for some guy who has a copper head gasket for a 212 cubic inch flathead Dodge motor, or a water pump that's going to take 3 weeks to get, or it's just that's great for the guys that want to maintain those classic vehicles in 100% operating condition as original, and I respect that, but that's not the goal on this. Plus, like I said before, this vehicle had been kind of chopped up and turned into a truck from a command car, so it's not a historically accurate vehicle, so there's no reason to maintain a historically accurate drivetrain. Just have some fun with it. That's my goal. It looks great. It looks cool. I get a lot of compliments on it. I mean, you don't see something like this very often. You see a lot of Jeeps. You see a lot of deuce and a halves. You see a lot of 5 tons. And I just want to say, thank God I didn't buy a 5 ton or deuce and a half. I mean, I was thinking about it, but it would have killed my back. I mean, on my shoulders and everything else, because this is just heavy enough for me in my stage of life right now. I would not want to be, manhandling, super singles on a fucking half ton or a 5 ton truck. So, this is a perfect little truck for what I want. Just like this is a perfect little 37 for, I'm not sure what I want yet, but I'm still working. I got almost done with this. I got it up on the air right now. I got to get up underneath it and do some, just check every nut and bolt and every hose clamp and everything. I did a little drive around town with it a couple months ago, and I just haven't had a chance to go through and double check everything. So that's next. One thing at a time. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Semper Fi.